there is a fascinating thing going on at the moment that just goes to show either Winston Peters doesn't know what DEI is, which is my guess, or he's just lying about what his party is all about. I've had lots of interactions over the years with New Zealand First MPs and stuff. I've already told a story once this week about one MP not even knowing what their charter said. We'll get to that shortly. But the thing I realised today, Chewie, is Winston Peters often says one thing when his party's policies or his party's manifesto says the opposite. So let's have a look at this one first, because remember, this is from last night. Chewie, do you want to see if that what I'd be interested to know is that website still up that lists in the manifesto how they use DEI in the selection of candidate? Remember you had that last night?
It wasn't a live website. It was
a screenshot. I wouldn't be surprised if it was gone down. The reason I say that is we have history with Winston about that. So this is just raw minute 45 when he comes out of the debating chamber talking to him about his party's DEI hiring tactics and how he obviously and clearly, it's only two possibilities, either doesn't know what DEI is or he's doing this Trumpian water is dry and fire is cold thing.
Mr. Peters, will the DEI policy apply to New Zealand First?
What do you mean?
Well, the Constitution of New Zealand First says list rankings should consider the gender diversity of the MPs.
Yeah, well, what's it got to do with DEI? DEI?
Isn't that DEI?
No, it's not.
Why not?
Well, it's got two words for a start, not three. You got that worked out?
DEI stands for diversity and inclusion.
So for a start, Winston is trying to sell the idea that if it's only two words, it can't be DEI, because DEI is three letters. So that's the first thing he's trying to sell. Yeah.
His brain's in a jar.
Or this is Trumpian. You know, Trump is still saying, and his press secretary is still saying, that tariffs are a tax cut for the American people. That's what they're still saying, right? They know that's not the case, but they're still saying it. This is either that, Chewie, or it's Trumpian.
DEI?
Isn't that DEI?
No, it's not.
Why not?
Well, it's got two words for a start, not three. You got that worked out?
DEI stands for diversity and inclusion. Surely that would be included by ethnic groups, social groups, gender?
It doesn't say that at all. Go and see what DEI means.
It means diversity, equity, and inclusion. Doesn't that?
That's what you said first time.
Yeah, it is. So doesn't that include ethnic groups, social groups, gender, and age?
I'm going to start a class for you guys next week.
So do you not think...
a break? I'm put in a
This is
week's class,
hypocritical, isn't it?
free. It'll be pro bono. You know what pro bono means?
This is hypocritical of you, isn't
You know
it?
what pro bono means?
This is hypocritical
You know what
of
pro bono
you.
means?
This is hypocritical of you,
You
isn't
know what
it?
pro bono means?
Is the
Do you
Constitution...
know what pro bono means?
Doesn't the
One
Constitution...
more time. Repetition
I'm
is stupid.
asking the questions.
Stupid weekend
I'm
and
asking
stupidity
the
doesn't help
questions.
you.
Doesn't the
Do you
Constitution...
know what pro bono is?
Doesn't your Constitution...
You got that?
Doesn't your Constitution reflect DEI values?
I just said to you, there are two words, not three.
Diversity,
Can't you get it?
Diversity could
No,
range.
you're adding the best part in by yourself.
No, diversity could
Which is typical
include...
you guys. And let me tell you what, we're going past 100 on our post. 1,000 that is. You guys can't even get to 100. Now, if you look at the Greens Constitution, it covers...
So there's been a time period where probably behind closed doors, his advisors have gone, Winston, yeah, that was really foolish. You look like a stupid old man. Old man shouts at clouds. They wouldn't have said it like that, but in a more polite way. And so he's come back out into the corridor to try and point the bone at the Greens, to try and make some kind of point.
To 100. Now, if you look at the Greens Constitution, it covers exactly that. It's got quotas and everything else. Our Constitution has two words, and no way can be construed the three words that you're using, and you're not going to get away with lying.
The Constitution has genders, social groups, ages, and ethnic groups to be represented.
Listen, moron, I'll just tell you once.
Listen, moron. Thank you, staff.co.nz, by the way. Listen, moron, I've already told you.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah. To be really honest with you, my gut, he doesn't know what it is. And I say that And also, it comes across that he's the figurehead, but maybe has nothing to do with what the party, because the party's got a president. That active party thing actually does, because he's got history of this, which we'll get to shortly. Before I tell my story again, Chewie, do you want to respond to what you've just seen, that absolute car crash?
Yeah, look, I mean, to talk to Winston, we'd obviously have to do a pre-record because I'm sure he goes to bed about 4 o'clock.
After the 5 o'clock, retiree special at Denny's.
Yeah,
does that first and goes to bed.
Do you think he walked into that room after he did that? Do you know what pro bono means? 27 times. It turned to his guys, go, I reckon that went really well. I reckon I look really smart out there. Like, he's acting like he's the smartest person in the building. He's just come off like a stupid old man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
This sort of behavior used to really play well for me when I could string 2 or 3 coherent thoughts together. But, but now I can't, and I'm still behaving the same way.
Just hearing him speak, the clarity of language, that he has been a very articulate debater and speaker in the past, it's all gone. I've said this before, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, because when you get older, you slow down. Watching my dad, who passed away 18 months ago, go from, he was a pretty successful insurance salesman and did that kind of stuff and ran all sorts of groups, and to sort of this man who'd sit in his chair and not be able to articulate exactly what he once could. And I've said it before about Winston, when he does that angry kind of turn and look, I'm like, man, I can see my 83-year-old father in that. When they get to a certain age and they don't quite have the same faculties they once had. And honestly, I'm not mocking. This is no disrespectful, because in the past, what happens with these guys, these men, is that they've been able to demand respect through their skills orating and through their presence. And when they lose that, they don't have anything else to fall back on other than angry, grumpy. And it's either because they're frustrated and they can't figure it out, or it's because they're going, hang on, this is not how you react to me. You react to me in a different way, because I speak but if you don't speak like that anymore, you get a different response. And
I see it quite often. And you're right. It's mainly older men, but it's there in both. And it doesn't matter how nice you're being, they're angry. And I've learned to treat it as like, it's not necessarily a reaction to me. Yeah. It's a reaction of like, no, I don't need to be taught anything, and anger at themselves for not understanding it. So he's angry. Someone's trying to point something out to him and question that what he said is not like chiseled in stone truth.
Yeah. Like I'll give you an example.
But this is elder abuse. He needs to just retire.
And look, honestly, if you hear nothing else, hear this. This is not me or us being dismissive or aggressive or nasty to the elderly. This is just a part of nature. I've never thought of this before, but my dad loved technology. He had, in the 1980s, 1990s, he worked in insurance. He started life assurance. And he had this machine that was like a typewriter, but you got the telephone from the wall and it would make that fax sound. And then what you did was you put it into 2 suction cups in this typewriter. And so it would then talk to Australia. Like, that was cutting edge when he got it. He was into it. And then to see him flummoxed over a text message, today's technology, you can just go, I get it, how that must be really hard. I was at the cutting edge, the pointy bit of technology not so long ago. Because remember, for an older person, speaking from experience, yesterday was 20 years ago, speaking from experience. And it's just, and I'm not saying that's what's happening with Winnie. Hey, get back on your mat. Lie down. What I'm saying is it's a natural progression of losing what you maybe had when you were younger. And when you then add someone in, hello, Mr. Trump, to someone of power, that then becomes concerning. Like, honestly, it becomes concerning. Anything else on that, Chewie, before I tell my story?
Oh, just and we're straying more and more from Winston here, but just generally, do you know what has helped me take the wind out of people's sales when they're getting really angry about the fact that they don't understand their phone, their tablet, the reason why they need a password for their emails, all of this sort of stuff. Is it's okay, you know heaps of stuff that I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is just it's a different world, you know. You probably know how to disassemble a car engine and rebuild it out of a box of fucking nuts that's underneath your house. I don't know how to do that, but I can sign into your email.
So I want to tell you the story about my interactions with, I can't remember his name. I haven't taken the time to go and have a look, but about this thing that Winston and New Zealand First have gone. I'm just looking for the actual screen grab, Chewie. Do you want to find the screen grab as to their website being about diversity, equity, inclusion while I tell the story? The one that you had last night or something like it?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find
just
that.
Google it. It'll be on
I'll
stuff
have a
or something. It'll be easy to find. If you put DEI NZ First. So anyway, I had a late night show, went from midnight till 6 a.m. And during election season, the parties would still send someone in to be with me between midnight and 1 a.m. And that's because it was News Talk ZB and there was still 100,000 people listening. And I had the number 2, so Winston's deputy from New Zealand First. And what I want to speak to now is how Winston and New Zealand First have history of not knowing what's in their constitutional manifesto. I talked to this guy about the policies, the characteristics, the manifesto of, I'll be back in a minute, of New Zealand First. Hi again, of New Zealand First and what they were. Emily says she sent it to you on Blue Sky. And so I was being a bit cheeky and I knew I was going to embarrass him. And I was like, what's the in the manifesto, what's the seventh most important thing that New Zealand First holds on to? And he couldn't do it. Oh, fair. What's the fifth? And he couldn't do it. Okay. What's the third? And he couldn't do it. And I said to him, Mr. Such and Such, what is the number one, whatever you call it, rule, whatever it is, characteristic in the manifesto of New Zealand First that says about who New Zealand First are? What's number one? And he couldn't tell me. And I said this the other night, Chewie, the number one thing was to make New Zealand first. He didn't know it. He didn't know the writing. There was a separation between the party, the actual party, and the party, the MPs and stuff. You found it, Joey?
No.
Okay. So we'll come back to that. But so Winston's embarrassed at the moment, being embarrassed because he doesn't know what's on his website. He doesn't know that on his website, when it talks about candidate listing lists, what it involves language that is diversity, equity, and inclusion. But he has a history of this. Now, I spent an hour looking for this today, and I'm glad I found it. And the reason it was so hard to find, Chewie, is this is the time frame where TVNZ got us kicked off YouTube. So this is not on YouTube. But in one of the debates, Winston Peters goes off his nut at Jack Tame about, what do you mean? We're not for GST off fruit and veggies. But you know what? It was in their manifesto that they were, and Winston didn't know. And then what happened was we got there first and got a screenshot of their manifesto. And by the end of this debate, it had been taken down. Enjoy, my friends.
Anyone here think that Labor's plan to remove the GST off fruit and vegetables and pass on the savings is credible? Winston Peters, isn't that also your policy?
No, it's not in the manifesto. Check it out.
Number 15 from your website on your 35 policy points for the 2023 election. We will take GST off basic foods, including fresh fruit, vegetables, meat, dairy, and fish.
Sorry.
Has that changed tonight?
No, sorry, that's not our problem. We said our problem was we thought the supermarket.
So I'm pausing that. So he had no clue. He had no clue that his party in their manifesto said they were going to take GST off fresh fruit and veggies. He has history in this. We'll get to the
But he's so confident. He's so confidently wrong.
He's so confident.
Monopoly would just take the profits. It would never get to the people, and as a consequence,
That's on your website. 2023 policies. It's also Rawiri YTT. It's also.
Can I finish?
So from your Rawiri YTT.
Can I finish? Hello, can I finish?
It's also your policy.
Can I finish?
Winston
You break the
Peters.
duopoly, allow tanga te whenua into the market to start our own.
If this isn't your policy, what
Oh, I
one
like
policy
that.
of New Zealand
What we
First would make the biggest difference in the cost of
we
living
said we
crisis?
want a full investigation speculation as to whether it will work or not, but we're reserving our judgment now. If you'd have been patient enough, rather than trying to have a catch you moment.
Catch you? Right, have some news, have some breaking news. We will show you something. Let me just get this out of here and get this out of here. So Winston Peters doesn't know his party's policy and what's on his website. Let me bring this up for you. I have done it. I just got to find it. Here we go. Double click on that. Can you see that? Has that come up on my screen for you? Hello.
Not yet.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was just trying to find all my open windows. Right, this was, as soon as they said that, I went to the New Zealand First website. Number 15, we will take GST off basic foods, including fresh fruit, vegetables, meat, dairy, and fish. Refreshed that page just now. So you're clear. We were watching the show live, the debate live. And then this was at the end of the debate. So within an hour, probably within half an hour, I was quick enough to go. So within that time frame, the thing that embarrassed Peters was gone. We'll just play to the end, eh? Refreshed that page just now.
Some intern sprints across the room.
Has
Delete
gone.
page.
Has
Delete.
gone. So this is what Jack referenced. There's number 15. We will take GFC off. I took a screen grab straight away because that's what we do. And now that's the page. The page is not there. So there you go.
Devious, slimy little rat bastard.
Please, can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
There you go, Chewie. So I don't know, like I said, that's not on, it's on YouTube now, but it's never been on YouTube because that's when we were kicked off YouTube by TVNZ. And that's only on my Twitter
Remember
feed.
that?
So that's
Remember that, family?
Yeah.
When TV Kiwi came and fucked with us?
Kicked us in the nuts. So there you go. So the point being,
very mean.
Winston has history of this, not having a clue what's in the manifesto or what's in the charter for New Zealand First. New Zealand First MPs have history of not understanding or knowing what their party has written in their manifesto. And this is just the latest iteration of that, Chewie.
Classic sort of stuff. It's a danger of being a populist, isn't it? That when a policy is popular, you just pop it in because that's what you're all about. And then popularity can change the party that you're trying to cozy up to because they seem like they might win this one, might not like that policy. It might be embarrassing. And that's what happens when you go for populism over, I don't know, integrity.
Pragmaticness.
Yep. Your convictions, having a spine, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
All right. Have you got something you want to share there, or are you done from your end? I can just.
I actually did find the Constitution there.
Go on.
Highlighted at the bottom there. The need for different genders, social groups, ages, and ethnic groups to be represented.
The literal definition of what DEI is. So
but no. It's got 2 words, not 3. What? What are you talking about? I would love one of these reporters. I know they probably won't because professionalism, but I'd just love someone to just ask him in that tone, what are you even talking about, old man?